Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and weight maintenance. Today we're going to talk about the stat that says that the average woman in America is 5'3.5" and weighs 170 pounds. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes, my 2 podcasts, The Awakened Man, which is very health related, and The Cinema Rag, which is not, it has to do with movies. But check them out on Spotify or Apple, rate and review. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. So in America, the average woman is 5'3" and weighs 170 pounds. And I might do a future episode on what the average man is. What do we know? I mean, we know obesity is a pervasive problem in the West, and now it's spreading to the non-West because of the standard American diet of the West that is getting transported to China and to sub-Saharan Africa, the typical processed food, fast food garbage that we eat over here. So the average woman is 5'3" and weighs 170 pounds, which is morbidly overweight. Now, of course, there are going to be exceptions. Certainly like an 18-year-old might not be that. But if you're looking at an adult woman, certainly an adult woman over the age of, let's say, 35, certainly over the age of 40, this is pretty normal. And I used to tell, my mom's 83 and she's overweight. But I used to have a joke with her saying, Mommy, you know why you don't see a lot of overweight 90-year-olds? It's because they're dead, right? Because of the obesity, the comorbidity that comes with obesity. You're more likely to die of cardiovascular events, heart attacks, and all these things like that. But obesity is a major problem. We know it's a problem with our children as well. But so this is not specific to women. Obesity is a problem. Yes, there are some stigmas connected to it, some socioeconomic factors connected to it. But ultimately, no one wants to be overweight if they can control it. Despite what the body positive movement tries to shove down your throat, nobody wants to. We'd have an episode here about how 50% of Americans would shave a year off their life if they weren't fat. And how something like 20% would have a special ed kid and would be willing to have one arm if they weren't fat. So clearly, Americans don't want to be overweight. And if you look at our ancestors didn't have this problem. And really, obesity didn't skyrocket until the 1970s. So we're one of the first or second generations that are really dealing with this. So why is it that the average woman is 5'3" and 170? Well, I mean, it's a lot of things. I think one of them is just biological. Women tend to hold more fat than men do because they are the bearer of children, and it is more important for that. So if you look at a time of pestilence and starvation, women who had more body fat were more likely to live because they had more body fat to kind of feed off of than, let's say, the skinny, emaciated women. So as a whole, women are going to have more body fat. Women tend to be shorter as well. So women that are shorter are going to show they can't carry as much weight, obviously, than the taller women. So I think these are 2 factors that are just kind of endogenous in women. What else is it? I would say statistically that women don't work out as much as men. Men tend to hit the gym. If you look at a typical gym, you're going to see more men than women. Even in the cardio section where you think there'd be more women, there's more men there, but certainly in strength training, there's going to be more men. Now, on the flip side of that, there is this rise of the kind of the masculinized woman, the tattoo-laden woman who's lifting weights, who's getting traps and biceps and all these things like that. I mean, that's another story for another time. But either way, I think men will work out more than women. Women will do, yoga and stuff, these things like that, but overall, men work out more. Some of this is socioeconomic. We know the poor deal with obesity more. The poor are not as educated in, as we would say, clinical nutrition or on what to eat more than the rich are. So if you live in a rich neighborhood or hang out at a Whole Foods, you're going to see less overweight people. There's still going to be overweight people there. But if you go to a poor part of a town, there's going to be a lot more overweight people. And the poor people just tend to eat more fast food. They tend to eat more processed food and so forth. So there have been attempts to educate this socioeconomic group on eating better, but it really hasn't made a difference. So that is what it is. Nothing has really been making a difference in the last few years on the obesity rates. The obesity rates are just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. What else? I think women suffer from depression more than men. So I think there's going to be more emotional eating. I think women are, for sure, statistically, this is known, take more antidepressants than men. And some of the side effects of that can be weight gain. If you look at the inserts for some of the antidepressants, I think this plays a role in it as well. But I think in general, it's a combination of 2 things. Women just hold fat quicker. It's harder for them to burn it than men. And then the other thing is that I think America is in a collective depression. We've talked about this before in a previous episode. If you look at the use of alcohol right now, you look at the use of psychiatric drugs, the use of recreational drugs, and just objective indicators by Pew and Gallup and other polling companies, Americans are depressed. We're collectively depressed. And when you're collectively depressed, you're going to turn to these things that will try to numb the pain short term, but ultimately just make you less healthy. So all these are a bad thing, and this episode is not done to shame women at all, because men are overweight too. We're all overweight. But these are just some specific reasons as to when women are more overweight. And again, a lot of people, women and men, who lose the weight regain it, and this goes to not doing the deep work of disassociating emotions from your eating and not doing the deep work as to why you have a disordered relationship with food in the first place, and this is typically due to childhood trauma. But check out the back catalog for that. Guys, post in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you why you think the average woman is 5'3.5" and weighs 170 pounds. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.